Hey guys, I am getting ready to get ready for the week. It is October 1st and it is also the beginning of the week. And so I need to get my menu prepared and I need to prep some food for me and my family for the week. So the first step I take is I go through what I have at home. I take a pretty thorough inventory at the beginning of the month from my freezer and my pantry. I have a deep freezer and I have a part of my garage that we use as a pantry. I don't have like a walk-in pantry. But from here, I go ahead and I build my menu for the week. And so I sit down with my inventory. I sit down with my eating plan for the program I'm doing right now. It's the 80-day obsession eating plan. I'm trying to bump down to plan C because plan D was just too much food, and I tried to do that last week for refeed day, and I hurt myself. So that's just too much. I'm trying to bump down to plan C. We'll see how that goes for a week, and I might bump back down to plan B even. So we're just playing it by ear for the next week or so. But I'm also pulling out my 2B mindset tracker, which I'm kind of also doing while I'm working on my eating plan from the other program. So I sit down with all that information and I build kind of a skeleton menu for the week, if you will. I use a pick two method, and I kind of just sketched it out. You see I have one day this is what I'm eating, the next day this is what I'm eating. Not necessarily in this order. I might go from here to here to here, or versa vice. But this is just a good idea of where to start. And so, for example, this week's lunches, I have a black bean spaghetti squash bowls. Now, what exactly is in those, I'm not sure, but I know I have black beans and I know I have spaghetti squash, and I have some vegetables coming out of the garden too. And then I have black bean crunchy tacos with salad. So that's what else is going to be on those. I'm going to go in and fill that in after I figure out what I have already. And so I make what I have already, or I pull out to defrost what I have already. So, for example, the next dinner for the next few nights is going to be either tofu or salmon. So I pulled out a big salmon fillet and I pulled out some tofu. This is about 2 servings, and this is also, for me, about 2 servings. I can't eat that much salmon in one sitting. This whole fillet is supposed to be 1 serving, but for me it's 2. So I also, my kids really like string cheese as one of them approaches to get one. I take these all out of the bags and I separate them, and then I just put them in a Tupperware so they can get to them at the bottom of the fridge. I also will incorporate these as snacks, and so these are really nice to have, and we stock up on them when they go on sale. You see in my steamer, which if you don't have a standalone steamer, I highly recommend you get one because I use this every week. This is hard-boiled eggs or steamed eggs, whatever. And these are the veggies I have from last week that I need to use up. So this is about 1/4 of a head of cauliflower or less, and a little bit of carrots. Here, honey. Perfect timing. And I also had 2 celery bunches, and so I cut those up. I keep them upright in some water. Let me bring one over so you can see. Keeps them fresh for days and crispy and delicious. And these are such a nice snack to have when I'm having a crunchy craving. That's I need something crunchy and cool. I don't know what it is. But I also save all the end pieces and cut those up. I'm making a tofu curry this week for one night for dinner. So I save these and I throw them in my curries, or if I'm making soup or whatever that week, that's what I do. I save them, I use them. I also have the luxury of shopping my garden, which I know not everybody does, but I went out there today and I found these. This is probably the last zucchini of the season, so I'm going to cherish it. I'm going to make zucchini noodles with pesto, homemade pesto, homegrown, homemade pesto. It's going to be fantastic. And I found a couple of beautiful peppers. This is a nice purple one and a just like lipstick red one. It looks so delicious. They're probably going to go into the black bean spaghetti squash bowls. And also the spaghetti squash came from my garden. I have quite the harvest this year. Probably about 20 of these. So this is, if we eat one of these a week, that's about 6 months worth of food. It's worth it to garden if you have the space, okay? These are really easy to grow. And so from there, I'm cooking what I have at home. That's most of our staples for the week are taken care of. And so now I have to go to the grocery store. I haven't done a grocery list, but just off the top of my head, as far as fruit goes, I only have one apple. One apple is not going to last us until tomorrow. I need to get fruit. I need to get dairy. I don't have any milk left for the day, which means the kids don't get milk for dinner or for breakfast tomorrow. I hope they can forgive me. But so that's meal prepping. That's how I get prepared for my week. So take inventory, sit down with your meal plan, use what you have, cook what you have, prepare what you have, cut it up, wash it, get it ready in the fridge. I don't portion everything out into a whole food planning like meal prep dish. I used to. I just don't do that anymore. That's a whole other step I don't even want to get into. And it's a whole other set of dishes that I don't want to get into. So I will just take, I don't really like this. I'll just have all of the steamed vegetables in one area, portion it out onto the plate when I'm going to eat it, and that's it. Open. And, sorry, my son distracted me, but that's okay. Here, honey. Can I have another one? Yes, you can have another one. So that's it. Take inventory. Sit down with your meal prepping list. Make a menu. Prep what you got. And then after all is said and done, make your grocery list and go shopping and stick to your grocery list. I personally do leave a little wiggle room in my grocery list. If I go to the store and they're all out of something, for example, I want to be able to get a reasonable substitute, even if it costs a little bit more. Or I'm a big fan of manager markdown specials, and so I cruise the meat aisle regularly for things that need to get sold that day or froze that day. Or also, one of my local grocery stores does the same thing with produce. So I'll go into the produce section, and sometimes I can get a giant like party tray of fruit that's marked down 50% off. And so then that'll be a really good deal for fruit, and I will freeze that up for smoothies. But just for now, I would recommend just sticking with what your grocery list says and going from there. So I hope some of this was helpful. I know learning to shop at home first has been a really big help in my meal planning, so I just wanted to share that with you. I will catch you on my next video. Hopefully be doing something to do with Stocktober. We have, now that I have almost finished emptying out my freezer, it's like almost scary. It's so empty, but now I get to fill it up. So I'm pretty excited to do that this month. But anyway, thanks for checking in, and we will see you in the next video.